My name is Brendan Ortiz, and I'm about to watch my wife destroy me in front of 300 people. The irony isn't lost on me that she's doing it in a conference room I helped design the network infrastructure for. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Lauren stands at the podium like she owns the world, which, in fairness, she pretty much does. Chief Financial Officer of Pinnacle Financial Technologies, Master of the Universe, and apparently, Master of Public Humiliation. Her blonde hair is pulled back in that severe bun that screams, "I will crush your dreams and bill you for the privilege." Before we discuss Q4 projections, she announces, her voice carrying that particular Boston Brahmin accent she cultivated to hide her working-class Southie roots. I need to address a personnel matter that affects our entire IT infrastructure project. 300 pairs of eyes turn toward the back corner where I'm sitting. I feel like a deer in headlights, except the deer has a master's degree in computer science and 15 years of marriage to the hunter. My husband, Brendan Ortiz, will be removed from the Morrison account effective immediately. She pauses for dramatic effect, letting the whispers ripple through the crowd. He needs time to reflect on his unprofessional behavior toward my brother-in-law, Ethan Bell, who, as you know, is our primary venture capital partner. Ethan Bell. Even thinking his name makes my jaw clench. Lauren's sister's husband, a walking stereotype of entitled wealth, who thinks his MBA from Wharton gives him the right to treat everyone like his personal servants. Last week, he'd cornered me in the parking garage and demanded I rewrite 3 months of code because he didn't like the color scheme of the user interface. When I politely explained that wasn't how software development worked, he'd called me an insubordinate little tech monkey and threatened to have me fired. I'd responded by suggesting he take his feedback and file it somewhere anatomically impossible. Apparently, that was unprofessional behavior. Brendan will remain suspended from all client-facing projects until he provides a written apology to Ethan and demonstrates he can work collaboratively with our investment partners. Lauren's smile could cut glass. We simply cannot tolerate disrespect toward the people who make our success possible. The room is silent. I can feel my coworkers' eyes boring into me, some sympathetic, others already calculating how to grab pieces of my project portfolio. My friend Marcus from IT security shoots me a worried look from across the room. I stand up slowly, my chair scraping against the floor with a sound like fingernails on a chalkboard. Every head turns toward me. "You want an apology?" I ask, my voice carrying clearly in the sudden silence. Lauren's smile widens. She thinks she's won. "A written apology, yes, submitted to HR and copied to Ethan and the board of directors." I pull out my phone and open the voice recorder app. "I'm sorry," I say clearly, making sure my voice carries to every corner of the room. "I'm sorry I married a woman who thinks humiliating her husband in public is acceptable professional behavior. I'm sorry I've spent 15 years building a life with someone who values her brother-in-law's hurt feelings more than her marriage. And I'm most sorry that it took me this long to realize what kind of person you really are." The silence is deafening. Lauren's face has gone from triumphant to pale in about 3 seconds. "There's your apology, Lauren. Consider it my resignation letter, too." I tap the stop button on the recorder and immediately email the audio file to HR, legal, and every member of the board of directors. I'm sure everyone will find it very illuminating. I walk toward the exit, my footsteps echoing in the silent auditorium. As I reach the door, I turn back one last time. "Oh, and Lauren? You might want to check your email. I sent everyone a very detailed timeline of Ethan's harassment, complete with security camera timestamps and witness statements. Turns out, calling someone a tech monkey in front of the parking garage cameras isn't the smartest move for a venture capital partner. The door slams behind me with a satisfying thud. By the time I reach the elevator, My phone is buzzing with calls from HR and the legal department. I ignore them all. I've got more important things to do, like figuring out exactly how much evidence I can gather before Lauren realizes she's declared war on the wrong person. The elevator doors close, and I catch my reflection in the polished steel. For the first time in months, I'm smiling. My home office is in the basement of our colonial-style house in Newton. Lauren always called it my man cave, but I prefer to think of it as mission control. 3 monitors, 2 laptops, and enough processing power to run a small country. It's where I do my best thinking, and right now, I need to think very carefully about my next moves. I pour myself 3 fingers of Jameson and settle into my ergonomic chair. The first rule of information warfare is to know exactly what you're dealing with. Lauren may have just declared war, but she's made a crucial tactical error. She's forgotten that I'm the one who set up all our home network security. Her laptop is still connected to our shared network drive. She never changed her password from our anniversary date, which would be touching if it weren't so incredibly stupid for someone in her position. I remote into her system and start browsing her recent files. What I find makes the whiskey turn to acid in my stomach. Email threads going back 6 months between Lauren and Ethan. Not business emails, personal ones, very personal ones. Screenshots of text messages that make my skin crawl. Hotel receipts from the Ritz-Carlton for dates when Lauren told me she was at overnight conferences. But the worst part? The way they talk about me. Brendan's getting suspicious, Lauren wrote 3 weeks ago. He asked why I was working so late again. Ethan's response: maybe it's time to put the little computer nerd in his place. I'll have a talk with him about respect. Be careful, Lauren replied. He's smarter than he looks, but his ego can't handle being embarrassed publicly. One good humiliation and he'll fall in line. I lean back in my chair, staring at the screen. They planned this. The whole confrontation in the parking garage, the public humiliation today. It was all orchestrated to break me down and make me compliant. They have no idea who they're dealing with. I spend the next 2 hours methodically documenting everything. Screenshots, email headers, metadata showing when files were created and modified. I cross-reference Lauren's calendar with the hotel receipts and find at least a dozen instances where she lied about her whereabouts. My phone buzzes with a text from Marcus. Dude, what the hell happened today? Legal is freaking out. They want to talk to you. I text back, not tonight. Tomorrow. Trust me, it's going to get interesting. Another text, this one from my neighbor, Pete. Saw Lauren leave about an hour ago with a suitcase. Everything okay? I look up at the ceiling. The house feels different without her presence, lighter somehow, like a weight I didn't realize I was carrying has been lifted. I text Pete back. Everything's fine. She's probably staying at her sister's tonight. Of course she is. With Ethan. I pour another whiskey and keep digging. Lauren's cloud storage reveals even more interesting information. Financial records showing she's been siphoning money from our joint accounts into a separate account I didn't know existed. Real estate searches for condos in downtown Boston. Attorney consultations about discreet divorce proceedings. She's been planning to leave me for months, but she wanted to destroy me first. Make sure I was too broken and humiliated to fight back when she took half of everything I'd worked for. The only problem with her plan is that she underestimated exactly how much dirt I could dig up when properly motivated. I create a new folder on my secure drive and start organizing everything chronologically. Screenshots, bank records, hotel receipts, text message threads, calendar discrepancies. By the time I'm finished, I have a timeline that would make a prosecutor weep with joy. My phone rings. Lauren's name appears on the screen. I let it go to voicemail, then listen to her message. Brendan, we need to talk. What you did today was completely inappropriate. I'm staying at Susan's tonight, but we need to discuss how you're going to fix this mess you've created. I delete the message and pour one more whiskey. Tomorrow, Lauren is going to discover that her mess is just getting started. The next morning, I wake up in my own bed for the first time in months without the sound of Lauren's alarm going off at 5:30 a.m. It's surprisingly peaceful. I make coffee in my favorite mug, the one Lauren always complained was too big, and check my email. 17 messages from HR, 12 from the legal department, 3 from board members, and 1 from someone I didn't expect, Jenna Walsh, Lauren's executive assistant. Mr. Ortiz, I think we should talk. I have information you might find useful. Can you meet me at Murphy's Pub on Beacon Street at lunch? J. Interesting. Jenna's worked for Lauren for 3 years, and I've always gotten the impression she sees more than she lets on. Executive assistants are like bartenders. They know everyone's secrets because people forget they're listening. I spend the morning returning calls from legal and HR, carefully managing the narrative. Yes, I resigned. No, I don't intend to pursue legal action at this time. Yes, I have documentation of the harassment I mentioned. No, I won't be discussing it until I've consulted with my own attorney. By 11 a.m., my phone stops ringing. By noon, I'm walking into Murphy's Pub. Jenna is already there, nursing a Diet Coke in a corner booth. She's a sharp woman in her early 30s, always impeccably dressed and unflappably professional. Today, she looks nervous. Thank you for coming, she says as I slide into the booth across from her. I wasn't sure you'd want to talk to anyone from the company. Depends on what you have to say. She glances around the pub, making sure no one is listening. I've been Lauren's assistant for 3 years. I've seen things, heard things, and after yesterday, I think you deserve to know the truth. I'm listening. Jenna pulls out her phone and shows me a photo of a document. It's a memo from Lauren to the board of directors, dated 2 weeks ago. Recommendation for personnel action. Brendan Ortiz, I read aloud. Due to ongoing performance issues and difficulties working with external partners, I recommend we restructure his role to minimize client contact and reduce his project responsibilities. She wrote that before Ethan ever talked to you in the parking garage. Jenna says quietly. This whole thing was planned. The confrontation, the public humiliation, everything. She wanted you out of the company, but she needed a reason that wouldn't look like nepotism or personal bias. Why are you telling me this? Jenna's jaw tightens. Because I've watched her treat people like garbage for 3 years, and I'm sick of it. Do you know what she called you in a meeting last month? She said you were burden, and that she was embarrassed to be married to someone so professionally insignificant. The words hit like a physical blow, but I keep my expression neutral. What else? The affair with Ethan has been going on for 8 months. I know because I've been booking their hotel rooms and covering for her when she's supposed to be in meetings. She made me lie to you directly at least a dozen times when you called looking for her. Jenna slides a flash drive across the table. Copies of everything, emails, calendar entries, expense reports, travel records, all of it. I palm the drive. Why now? Because yesterday, after your little speech, she came back to the office and screamed at me for 20 minutes. Called me incompetent, threatened to fire me, blamed me for not warning her that you might have evidence. Jenna's voice hardens. Then she told me to start putting together a case for why you should be blacklisted from other tech companies in Boston. She wants to destroy your career completely. And you decided you'd rather destroy hers instead? I decided I'd rather work for someone who doesn't treat people like disposable objects. Jenna finishes her Diet Coke and stands up. Good luck, Mr. Ortiz. I hope you make her pay for every rotten thing she's done. After she leaves, I sit in the booth for another 20 minutes, processing what I've learned. Lauren didn't just betray our marriage. She's been systematically planning to destroy my entire professional life. She wants me broken, unemployable, and completely dependent on her mercy. She's about to learn that mercy is a two-way street, and her lane is permanently closed. I drive home and immediately start cross-referencing Jenna's files with my own research. The picture that emerges is even worse than I thought. Lauren hasn't just been cheating. She's been embezzling company funds to pay for her affair. Hotel rooms, expensive dinners, weekend trips to Martha's Vineyard, all charged to various company expense accounts and buried in different budget categories. More importantly, she's been using her position to manipulate personnel decisions, steering contracts to companies that Ethan has investments in, and generally treating the company like her personal piggy bank. I create a comprehensive report, complete with financial analysis, timeline documentation, and legal citations. By the time I'm finished, it's a 40-page document that reads like a prosecutor's dream case. Then I do something Lauren would never expect. I pick up the phone and call the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. Special Agent Morrison speaking. Agent Morrison, my name is Brendan Ortiz. I have evidence of embezzlement and securities fraud at Pinnacle Financial Technologies, and I'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss it. There's a pause. How much money are we talking about, Mr. Ortiz? I look at my calculations. Approximately $1.2 million over the past 18 months. I can see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. After I hang up, I pour myself a beer and sit on my back deck, watching the sun set over Newton. Lauren thinks she's destroyed me, but she's actually done me the biggest favor of my life. She's shown me exactly who she really is, and she's given me all the ammunition I need to return the favor. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is Ethan. We need to talk. Meet me at the Starbucks on Newberry Street tomorrow at 10 a.m., or things are going to get very unpleasant for you. I text back, looking forward to it. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day. Ethan Bell looks exactly like what he is, a trust fund baby who thinks his family money makes him untouchable. He's sitting at a corner table in the Starbucks, wearing a suit that probably costs more than most people make in a month, checking his Rolex every 30 seconds like his time is too valuable to waste on mere mortals. I order a large black coffee and take my time adding cream and sugar before joining him. Let him sweat a little. You're late, he says without looking up from his phone. Actually, I'm exactly on time. You were early because you're nervous. That gets his attention. His pale blue eyes lock onto mine with the kind of entitled anger I've come to associate with people who've never been told no in their entire lives. Listen, you little computer geek, we need to get something straight. What happened yesterday was embarrassing for everyone involved. Lauren is willing to overlook your public tantrum if you're willing to be reasonable. Define reasonable. Ethan leans back in his chair, clearly enjoying what he thinks is a position of power. You withdraw your resignation, apologize publicly for your behavior, and agree to stay out of any projects I'm involved with. In exchange, Lauren won't pursue legal action for defamation, and you get to keep your job. I sip my coffee and study his face. And what about your relationship with my wife? What relationship? His smile is pure predator. Lauren and I are business partners. If you're seeing something else, that's your paranoia talking. Business partners who book adjoining hotel rooms at the Ritz-Carlton? The smile falters slightly. I don't know what you think you know, but I know you've been sleeping with Lauren for 8 months. I know you've been using company funds to pay for your little romantic getaways. I know you planned the whole confrontation in the parking garage to give Lauren an excuse to humiliate me publicly. I lean forward. And I know that both of you are about to have a very bad week. Ethan's face goes through several interesting color changes before settling on an unhealthy shade of red. You can't prove any of that. I pull out my phone and show him a screenshot of one of his text messages to Lauren. Can't wait to celebrate closing the Morrison deal properly. I've booked us the penthouse suite for the weekend. Time to show your husband what a real man looks like. Where did you get that? Lauren's cloud storage. She never changed her password from our anniversary date. Sentimental, don't you think? Ethan grabs for my phone, but I'm faster. I pull it back and slip it into my jacket pocket. Here's what's going to happen, I continue calmly. You're going to end your relationship with Lauren immediately. You're going to withdraw from any business dealings with Pinnacle Financial Technologies, and you're going to pray that the FBI doesn't decide to look too closely at how company funds have been flowing toward your investment portfolio. The FBI? Ethan's voice cracks slightly. I have a meeting with Agent Morrison this afternoon. Turns out, using corporate expense accounts to fund an extramarital affair is considered embezzlement. Who knew? Ethan stands up abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. Several other customers look over at us. You're making a huge mistake. My family has connections you can't even imagine. I can destroy your career with one phone call. Your family's connections won't help you when you're wearing an orange jumpsuit. I stand up as well, meeting his glare with a calm smile. But please, make those phone calls. I'd love to see how many of your family's friends want to be associated with someone under federal investigation. Ethan storms out of the Starbucks without another word. Through the window, I watch him pull out his phone and start making calls before he's even reached his BMW. I finish my coffee and check my watch. I have 4 hours before my meeting with the FBI, time enough to make a few calls of my own. The first call is to my friend Marcus at the company. How's the mood in the office today? Tense, Marcus says. Lauren came in this morning looking like she hadn't slept, and she's been in closed-door meetings with legal all morning. Word is spreading about what you said yesterday. People are asking questions. What kind of questions? The kind that make HR very nervous. Someone leaked that audio recording you made, and now everyone's wondering what other evidence you have. Also, Ethan Bell showed up about an hour ago, looking like he wanted to murder someone. Interesting. Do me a favor. Keep your ears open and let me know if anything unusual happens. Will do. Brendan, whatever you're planning, be careful. These people have a lot of power. So do I. They just haven't figured that out yet. My second call is to a headhunter I've worked with before. Within an hour, I have 3 interviews lined up for next week with companies that would represent significant career upgrades. Turns out, senior software engineers with my experience and security clearance are in high demand. My third call is to a divorce attorney, Patricia Chen's office. I'd like to schedule a consultation with Ms. Chen. It's regarding a divorce case that involves potential criminal activity. How soon can you be here? 1 hour. Patricia Chen's office is in a glass tower downtown with a view of Boston Harbor that probably costs more per month than most people's mortgages. She's a woman in her 50s with steel gray hair and the kind of sharp intelligence that makes opposing counsel break out in cold sweats. Mr. Ortiz, I've reviewed the materials you sent over. This is quite a comprehensive case you've built. I believe in being thorough. The financial evidence alone would be sufficient for a favorable divorce settlement, but the criminal aspects complicate things. Have you contacted law enforcement? I have a meeting with the FBI in 2 hours. Ms. Chen nods approvingly. Good. That shows you're acting in good faith. Now let's talk about what you want to accomplish. I want Lauren to face the consequences of her actions, all of them. And financially? I want what's mine, and I want her to lose what she's stolen. Ms. Chen makes notes on a legal pad. Given the evidence of adultery and embezzlement, we can pursue a fault-based divorce. Massachusetts law allows for significant financial penalties when one spouse has committed adultery or wasted marital assets. How significant? With this level of documentation, you could potentially receive 70–80% of the marital assets, plus spousal support if you want to pursue it. I think about Lauren's face when she realizes she's lost everything she worked for. I don't want her money. I just want her to understand that actions have consequences. Mr. Ortiz, revenge is expensive. Justice is profitable. Let me handle this properly, and your wife will learn both lessons. By the time I leave Ms. Chen's office, I have a clear legal strategy and a retainer agreement. More importantly, I have the confidence that comes from knowing I'm not just acting on emotion. I'm building a case that will hold up in court. The FBI meeting goes even better than I hoped. Agent Morrison is a no-nonsense woman who listens carefully to my presentation and asks pointed questions about the financial evidence. By the end of our 2-hour meeting, she's taking notes and talking about opening a formal investigation. Mr. Ortiz, I want to be clear about something. Once we start this process, there's no going back. Your wife and Mr. Bell will face serious federal charges if our investigation confirms what you've shown me. I understand. And you're prepared for the personal consequences? This will destroy your marriage and potentially impact your wife's entire family. I think about Lauren's smug smile as she humiliated me in front of 300 people. I think about Ethan calling me a computer geek, like it was the worst insult he could imagine. I think about months of lies and manipulation and planning to destroy my career. Agent Morrison, my marriage was destroyed the moment my wife decided to betray everything we built together. I'm just making sure everyone understands the real cost. As I walk out of the federal building, my phone buzzes with a text from Lauren. We need to talk. Tonight. This has gone far enough. I text back. You're right, it has. See you at home at 8 p.m. Time for the final confrontation. Lauren is waiting in our living room when I get home, sitting on the white leather sofa she insisted we buy, even though I thought it was impractical. She's changed out of her business attire into jeans and a sweater, trying to look casual and approachable. It doesn't work. Her eyes are red-rimmed, and there's a tension in her shoulders that tells me she knows exactly how much trouble she's in. We need to fix this, she says, before I've even closed the front door. Fix what exactly? This whole mess. Your resignation, the things you said yesterday, whatever you think you know about Ethan and me. She stands up and moves toward me, her voice taking on the pleading tone she uses when she wants something. Brendan, we can work this out. We've been together for 15 years. That has to count for something. I walk past her to the kitchen and pour myself a glass of water. 15 years. You're right, that should count for something. So why did you throw it away? I didn't throw anything away. You're overreacting to what? To finding out my wife has been cheating on me for 8 months? To discovering she's been embezzling company funds to pay for her affair? To learning that she's been planning to destroy my career and leave me unemployable? I turn to face her. Which part of that am I overreacting to, Lauren? Her face goes pale. What do you think you know? I know everything. The hotel rooms, the text messages, the financial records, the meetings with divorce attorneys, the plans to blacklist me from other companies. I know about the memo you wrote recommending my removal from projects 2 weeks before Ethan ever confronted me. I know this whole thing was orchestrated to humiliate me into submission. Lauren sinks back onto the sofa, her hands shaking slightly. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. The only question is what you're going to do about it. What do you want? I want you to understand what you've done. To me, to us, to your own career. I sit down across from her, keeping my voice calm and level. Do you have any idea what's going to happen when the FBI finishes their investigation? The FBI? Her voice is barely a whisper. Federal embezzlement charges carry a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Securities fraud can add another 20. Even if you plea bargain, you're looking at significant jail time and the end of your career in finance. Lauren's composure finally cracks completely. Tears start flowing down her cheeks, and her voice becomes desperate. Brendan, please. I made mistakes, but we can fix this. I'll end things with Ethan. I'll pay back the money. I'll do whatever you want. Just don't destroy my life. I'm not destroying your life, Lauren. You did that yourself. I'm just making sure everyone sees the real cost of your choices. Please. She's sobbing now, all pretense of control gone. I love you. I never meant for any of this to happen. You love me? I lean forward, my voice hardening. You plan to humiliate me publicly, destroy my career, and take half of everything I've worked for. That's not love, Lauren. That's sociopathy. My phone buzzes with a text message. I glance at it and smile. That's interesting. Ethan just texted me. Apparently, he's decided to throw you under the bus to save himself. He's claiming the whole affair was your idea, that you seduced him and manipulated him into helping you embezzle company funds. Lauren's face goes from pale to green. He wouldn't. He would, and he did. In fact, he's already contacted the FBI and offered to cooperate with their investigation in exchange for immunity. I show her the text. Your husband contacted the FBI. I've told them everything was your idea. You're on your own. That bastard. Lauren's grief transforms into rage in seconds. After everything I did for him, everything I risked, he's going to blame me? What did you expect? Honor among thieves? Loyalty from a man who was cheating on his own wife while sleeping with someone else's? Lauren stares at the phone screen, her mind clearly racing through the implications. What do you want me to do? Nothing. It's too late for you to do anything. The investigation is already underway, the evidence is overwhelming, and your co-conspirator is actively working against you. I stand up and walk toward the stairs. I'm going to pack some things. My attorney will be in touch about the divorce proceedings. Brendan, wait. Lauren jumps up and grabs my arm. Please, I know I screwed up, but 15 years has to mean something. We can get past this. I look down at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. Lauren, you didn't screw up. You made a series of calculated decisions to betray our marriage, steal from your company, and destroy my life. The only thing you're sorry about is getting caught. I gently remove her hand from my arm. The locks will be changed tomorrow. My attorney will contact you about retrieving your personal belongings. You can't kick me out of my own house. Actually, I can. The house is in my name only, remember? You insisted on that for tax purposes. I smile grimly. Turns out your obsession with financial optimization is going to cost you more than you anticipated. I leave Lauren sitting in the living room and go upstairs to pack a bag. Through the bedroom window, I can see her car in the driveway, the BMW she bought with money she stole from her own company. By tomorrow, that car will probably be seized as evidence. My phone rings as I'm folding shirts into a suitcase. It's Agent Morrison. Mr. Ortiz, I wanted to update you on our investigation. We've made significant progress in the last few hours. Good news or bad news? Good news for you, bad news for your wife and Mr. Bell. We've obtained warrants for their financial records and electronic devices. We should have enough evidence to file formal charges within the week. What kind of charges? Wire fraud, embezzlement, conspiracy to commit securities fraud. We're looking at federal felonies with significant prison time. After I hang up, I finish packing and carry my suitcase downstairs. Lauren is still sitting on the sofa, staring at her phone like it might offer some solution to her problems. The FBI will probably be here with a search warrant tomorrow, I tell her. You might want to find somewhere else to stay. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. I walk toward the front door, then pause and turn back. Lauren, do you want to know the really ironic part of all this? She looks up at me with red, swollen eyes. If you had just asked for a divorce, I would have given you half of everything and wished you well. I loved you enough to let you go if you weren't happy. But you couldn't just leave. You had to try to destroy me first, and that decision is going to cost you everything you've worked for. I open the front door and step outside into the cool evening air. Behind me, I hear Lauren start crying again, but I don't look back. My phone buzzes with a text from Marcus. Dude, the FBI just showed up at the office with a search warrant. They're seizing Lauren's computer and files. What the hell did you do? I text back. I gave them exactly what they needed to do their job. As I drive away from the house where I spent 15 years of my life, I feel something I haven't experienced in months. Peace. For the first time since this whole mess started, I'm not angry or hurt or confused. I'm just satisfied. Lauren wanted to play games with people's lives, Now she's about to learn that some games have consequences she never imagined. Tomorrow, the real reckoning begins. 3 weeks later, I'm sitting in Patricia Chen's office, reviewing the final divorce settlement documents. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I can see Boston Harbor sparkling in the afternoon sun. It's a beautiful day for justice. The criminal charges were filed this morning, Ms. Chen informs me, sliding a newspaper across her desk. The headline reads, CFO and VC partner charged in $1.2 million embezzlement scheme. Both of them. Lauren faces 12 federal felony counts. Ethan faces 8, plus additional charges related to his investment fraud. The prosecution is confident they'll both receive significant prison sentences. I scan the article, noting the details about frozen assets, seized properties, and destroyed careers. What about the divorce? Given the criminal charges and evidence of adultery, the court awarded you 85% of the marital assets, plus the house, both cars, and Lauren's pension fund. Ms. Chen smiles with professional satisfaction. It's one of the most favorable divorce settlements I've ever negotiated. And Lauren agreed to this? Lauren's criminal defense attorney advised her that fighting the divorce would only make her look worse to the jury in her criminal trial. She signed everything yesterday. My phone buzzes with a text from my new employer. Brendan, the Morrison contract came through. $200K signing bonus, plus stock options. Welcome to the team. I show the message to Ms. Chen. Looks like my career survived the assassination attempt. More than survived. Word in the legal community is that you handled this situation with remarkable professionalism. That kind of reputation is worth more than money. After leaving Ms. Chen's office, I drive to Murphy's Pub to meet Marcus for a celebratory drink. He's already there, nursing a beer and scrolling through news articles on his phone. You magnificent bastard, he says as I sit down. You actually did it. You destroyed them both. I didn't destroy them. They destroyed themselves. I just made sure everyone could see the wreckage. The FBI press conference was brutal. They laid out the whole timeline, showed the evidence, even played some of those text messages between Lauren and Ethan. Marcus shakes his head in amazement. I've never seen two people throw each other under the bus so enthusiastically. What's the mood at the office? Relief, mostly. Turns out, Lauren had been manipulating a lot more than just your situation. 3 other employees have come forward with complaints about her behavior, and the board is conducting a full review of every contract she approved. Marcus raises his beer. To justice served cold. We're interrupted by a commotion near the bar's entrance. Lauren walks in, looking like she's aged 5 years in 3 weeks. Her hair is disheveled, her clothes are wrinkled, and there are dark circles under her eyes that makeup can't hide. She scans the room until she spots me, then walks over with the determined stride of someone who has nothing left to lose. I need to talk to you, she says, ignoring Marcus completely. I don't think that's a good idea, Lauren. Your attorney would probably advise against it. My attorney fired me when I couldn't pay his retainer. She sits down uninvited, her voice bitter. Turns out, having all your assets frozen makes it hard to afford legal representation. Marcus starts to get up. I should probably... Stay, I tell him. Lauren, whatever you want to say, you can say it in front of witnesses. Lauren's laugh is harsh and broken. Witnesses? You want witnesses for this? She leans forward, her eyes blazing with a mixture of rage and desperation. You destroyed my entire life over a stupid affair. I didn't destroy anything. You made choices, and now you're facing the consequences. Consequences? Lauren's voice rises, drawing stares from other patrons. I'm facing 20 years in federal prison. My career is over. My reputation is ruined. My family won't speak to me, and I'm living in a studio apartment in Somerville because it's all I can afford. And whose fault is that? You could have just divorced me quietly. You could have taken your half and moved on. But no, you had to turn it into some kind of revenge fantasy. Tears start flowing down her cheeks. I loved you, Brendan. Maybe I made mistakes. But I loved you. You loved me so much that you planned to destroy my career and leave me unemployable. You loved me so much that you stole over $1 million to fund your affair. You loved me so much that you humiliated me in front of 300 people. I keep my voice calm, but every word hits like a hammer. That's not love, Lauren. That's pathological narcissism. I made mistakes. You made choices. Every hotel room, every lie, every stolen dollar, every plan to destroy my life. Those were all choices. And now you're living with the consequences of those choices. Lauren stares at me for a long moment, her face cycling through anger, grief, and finally, resignation. You're right, she whispers. I made my choices, but so did you. You chose revenge over forgiveness. You chose destruction over mercy. What does that make you? It makes me someone who learned that some people don't deserve forgiveness. Some betrayals are too deep, some cruelties too calculated. I lean back in my chair. You wanted to play games with people's lives, Lauren. You just never expected to lose. Lauren stands up slowly, her movements those of a woman who's been broken by the weight of her own decisions. I hope you're happy, Brendan. I hope destroying me was worth throwing away 15 years of marriage. I didn't throw away our marriage. You did, the moment you decided I was disposable. I meet her eyes one last time. Goodbye, Lauren. I hope prison gives you time to think about the person you became. Lauren walks away without another word. Through the pub's windows, I watch her get into a beat-up Honda Civic, a far cry from the BMW she used to drive. As she pulls away from the curb, I feel a sense of completion that I haven't experienced since this whole nightmare began. Marcus whistles low. Damn, man, that was cold. That was justice. So what now? You've got the money, the house, the new job, and she's going to prison. What's next for Brendan Ortiz? I finish my beer and consider the question. Now I rebuild. New job, new life, new relationships with people who understand that loyalty and trust actually mean something. Any regrets? I think about Lauren's tears, about the broken woman who just walked out of this bar, about the life we might have had if she'd made different choices. I regret that it came to this. I regret that the woman I married turned out to be someone I never really knew. But I don't regret making sure she faced the consequences of her actions. Even if those consequences destroy her completely. Marcus, she tried to destroy me completely. The only difference is that I was better at it than she was. My phone buzzes with a news alert. Former CFO Lauren King and VC partner Ethan Bell plead guilty to federal embezzlement charges. Sentencing expected within 60 days. I show the alert to Marcus. Looks like they decided not to fight it. Smart move. The evidence was overwhelming. The evidence was perfect. That's what happens when you try to destroy someone who's smarter than you are. As we leave Murphy's pub, I catch my reflection in the window. For the first time in months, I look like myself again. The weight of betrayal and humiliation has been lifted, replaced by the satisfaction that comes from seeing justice served properly. Lauren wanted to write me out of her story, but she forgot a crucial detail. I'm the one who knows how to manipulate the narrative. And in this story, the underdog doesn't just survive, he wins completely. Tomorrow, I start my new job. Next week, I move into a downtown condo with a harbor view. Next month, Lauren and Ethan will be sentenced to federal prison. Some stories end with forgiveness and redemption. This one ends with justice and consequences. And for the first time in 15 years, I'm exactly where I belong.